Great. So I would like to welcome you to our presentation about Slovakia and how to get a scholarship stay to our beautiful, as we call it, little big country. But firstly, let me introduce myself and the agency that I work for. My name is Magdalena. Nice to meet you. And I work for Slovak Academic Information Agency, which is a national agency that promotes education in Slovakia. And we are a non-profit and non-governmental. We have been in Slovakia for 30 years, and we aim to strengthen the civic society via internationalization of science and education, which simply means that we want foreign students and researchers to come to Slovakia and enrich our education and society with their new insights and perspectives. So basically, we want you to come to study to Slovakia. And let me tell you why. Slovakia is a little country in the center of Europe, or we like to call it in the heart of Europe. And it is not to be mixed up with Slovenia, which is also a country in fairly a center of Europe. And actually, those two names are so similar that, and that is a fact, that Slovak and Slovenian embassy have to meet on a regular basis, like maybe once in a several months, to exchange wrongly addressed mail, like letters or something that you get from post office. So that is a fun fact. Some basic facts about Slovakia. There is 5.4 million inhabitants in our country. We are a parliamentary democracy and a member of European Union, and as well a member of the Schengen area, which means that you can freely move around the whole of Europe if you come to Slovakia. And we used to be a part of Czechoslovakia until 1993, so maybe the word Czechoslovakia might ring a bell to you. Now we are a separate and independent country. And our currency is euro. And as I already said, we are a member of Schengen area, which is quite, I would say, very efficient and really nice to be in a country like that. Because when you come to Slovakia and our currency is euro, you can, for example, go to the country just across the borders, for example, Austria, and you can pay with the same currency. You don't have to exchange any money, and you can go there without any problems at the border. So this is a little map of Slovakia. As you can see, we are surrounded by Poland, Czech Republic, Austria, and Hungary. And our capital city is at the most western part of our country. And now you can see it in a little bit of perspective. And I think that our location is really great because if you, for example, want to go for a trip from Bratislava to, for example, Prague, Vienna, or Budapest, which are world famous metropoli, you just have to spend maybe from 1 to 3 hours in a car, which is a great, great time to spend just traveling, and then you are there. So maybe even for a day trip. So now I would like to tell you some more interesting facts about Slovakia. Sorry?
I've got input from the audience that the PowerPoint
sure, of course.
Isn't working.
You cannot see the presentation?
No, it's just in the page 1.
Which one, sorry?
Still in the cover, the page 1. It hasn't been moved. Still stays in the same page, the first page.
Sorry, and okay, I don't know why. I can try to stop sharing and try to share it again.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, I will just try to share my screen, not just the presentation, and see if it works better. Can you see now?
Yes, it's now basic facts, 5.4 million.
Yes,
So you
sure.
can try to turn, yes, it's working.
Is everyone now seeing it moving?
Yes, it's moving.
Now the map and now a slide with 4 pictures.
Yes.
Great. So would the participants like to go over it with me again, or is it okay if I continue from this slide? You can even say it out loud if you wish. Okay, so maybe I will just show you for a little bit the slides. As I already told you, there are 5.4 million inhabitants. We are a democracy. We have euro as a currency. We used to be a part of Czechoslovakia. And this is a little map, so you have some idea of what Slovakia is. It's a country, and for the most part, we are covered by mountains and lowlands, and we have a lot of rivers and lakes. And now here, as I said, you can see Bratislava at the most western part of the country, and Vienna, Prague, and Budapest are just 1 to 3 hours right away. So I hope that you can already and still see the slides and the presentation is working again. Okay, I hope there's no complaint. So
yep, it's working.
Great. So let me now tell you some interesting facts about Slovakia and convince you that really coming to Slovakia is a good idea. We have a rich history. And we, due to our location, which is in the center of Europe, we have always been on the crossroads of cultures and of the historical events. And we have also crossed all the historical milestones of Europe, and sometimes for the worse and sometimes for the better. As you probably know, after the Second World War, we have been part of the Soviet Union, and we had nearly half a century of communism. And from that, we inherited, for example, even the buildings that you can see, the typical blocks of flats that were built during the communist era. And we also inherited civic society and ideas that we can always protest when something is wrong. So we have passed from communism to independence in a matter of half a century. And that is very interesting to see in the historical surroundings that you see when you come to Slovakia, but also in the minds of people. Except of our history, we have breathtaking nature. As I already said, our country is for the most part covered in mountain ranges. And with that nature comes also wildlife, because we have more than 10 natural preserves, and you can see a great variety of wild animals there. And maybe you have already heard about our most famous mountains, which you can see on the pictures. They are called High Tatras, and they are on the northern part of our country, on the borders with Poland. So if you come to Slovakia, it's really easy to go somewhere for a hike or for a walk in nature, because at any point nature is maybe like 10 minutes to 30 minutes away from you, even if you live in the capital. We are also a country that is filled with castles. Actually, we hold a world record for that, because we have the most number of castles per capita in our country, which is maybe like more than 600 castles in Slovakia. And those castles are not fun to see from outside, but also from the inside, because they are a great historical inheritance. And when you come there, you feel like a prince or princess in maybe in a fairy tale. Except castles and mountains, you can also visit a lot of caves in Slovakia, because we have many caves that are accessible for public, even a cave that has stalactites and stalagmites made from ice, as you can see on the left upper part of the slide. As I already said, with history comes also historical inheritance, and we also have many World Heritage sites in Slovakia, including the castle that you can see here on the picture, and that is the biggest castle in the Central Europe. And believe me when I say, when you go there, it's breathtaking. Except castles and nature, we also have many historical towns, many historical monuments and buildings, for example, like the Blue Church or the famous mining towns in the center of Slovakia that are very beautiful because in the past, the mining industry and precious metals brought them wealth. So when you go there, you feel like you are 200 years back in the past. And also, we have to mention our gastronomy, which is mainly based on milk and cheese, as historically Slovakia has been a country where people would have a lot of sheep, and mainly in the northern part of the country, there were a lot of shepherds. So our gastronomy is made basically on cheese, flour, potatoes, and things like this. For example, even poppy, which is banned in some countries. And on the bottom left part of the slide, you can see the meal, which is called halušky. And halušky is the most famous meal of Slovakia. Maybe you heard about that. And it's made of pasta, which is similar to gnocchi in Italy. And then you mix it with sheep cheese and top it with bacon. And if you come to Slovakia, you have to try it. And of course, our culture is also very rich. We have some inheritance in the folk culture, folk dances, and folk singing. But also, maybe you didn't know that Andy Warhol comes from Slovakia, and he even has a museum dedicated to him in the little village that he was born in. And except all of that I just said, we are not crowded. We have many areas with excellent air quality, and 30% of our surface is covered in forests. And we are as safe as Germany, Sweden, Belgium, or Netherlands. So I hope that all of these facts convinced you that Slovakia is really worth visiting. And now I told you why you should visit Slovakia, but why should you study here or do your research here? Well, basically, we have a few points to convince you with. And first is location, because as I already said, when you come to Slovakia, the door to all of Europe is open to you. We have low tuition fees, and with that also high quality education in many highly ranked universities. So how is the Slovak higher education system? Well, it's very similar to other European countries, but basically if you want to come to study at a university, you start with a bachelor degree, which usually takes 3 to 4 years, and the 4 years if you study architecture, arts, or design. Then you continue with master, which usually takes from 1 to 3 years, or 5 to 6 years if you study medicine, veterinary medicine, or pharmacy. And then if you wish to, you come to study doctorate, and that is from 3 to 4 years. And if you have any questions, you can just stop me and raise your hand and ask them. We offer our education in 20 public, 3 state, and 11 private universities in Slovakia. And together they offer more than 400 study programs offered in English language or other foreign languages. And of course, when it comes to education and studying in Slovakia, you must ask a question that how much does it cost? So to tell you simply, students studying full-time in Slovakia in Slovak language pay no tuition fees. And it's a legal requirement that education in Slovak language is free of charge for people who study in Slovak language. And if you come to study in a foreign language, you do pay tuition fees, but they vary from maybe 500 euros to 12,000 euros per year. But don't worry, the higher end of tuition fees is not that common and is mainly with the programs like medicine or veterinary medicine. And when we are talking about money and tuition fees, you also must probably wonder how expensive is it to live in Slovakia. Well, even though we are as safe as maybe Belgium, Germany, or Netherlands, we are not that expensive. And it also depends on the lifestyle that you lead. So for example, for food, you may pay from 100 to 1,250 euros per month, depending on if you cook your own food or you eat in a restaurant. We have a question that if it's there any scholarship, and yes, of course there is, and we will get to that in a minute. And for accommodation in a private apartment, you may pay around 300 euros. But even lower if you, for example, share a room, or also depends on the city that you live in. But for dormitory, you may pay from 80 euros per month and even lower in some cities. So if you live in a dorm, for example, during your scholarship stays, it is not very expensive. It's quite well priced. And for internet or TV, you pay from 10 to 20 euros per month. And that is probably if you live in a private apartment. But for example, if you do live in a dorm, the internet is already provided to you. And if you wish to work alongside your studies, you can do so, because students in Slovakia can work up to 20 hours per week legally. And there is a small tip for you that after graduation, you can extend your residence permit up to 9 months in order to find a job or start a business in Slovakia, if you like it here, which I hope you would. And if you are interested in all of this information I just told you, you don't have to remember it just now. You can also go to our website, www.saia.sk, and choose the language variation English. And in the section publications, you can find our guides for foreign students. And you can find there all the information you need about Slovakia. And also the middle one, study programs offered in foreign languages, offers an overview of all of the study programs that you can choose from if you would like to come to Slovakia for a whole full study, or even for a study stay with a scholarship. So as I told you, our website is www.saia.sk. And in the section scholarship and grants, you can also search for your for a scholarship. And as you can see, it takes you to website www.grants.saia.sk. And there you can search on our search bar according to your home country, support category, and target group. And as I have already done that for you, I have inserted a home country, Indonesia. And you can see right here that a national scholarship program of the Slovak Republic is available to you. So I hope that now I will answer all of your questions that you have regarding scholarships. And let me tell you something more about this program. A National Scholarship Program of the Slovak Republic is a program that is for any student in any country in the world that would like to come to Slovakia. It supports the mobility of students. And if you are a student, you can come here for 1 to 2 semesters. And of course, also of PhD students and researchers, university teachers, and artists. And if you fall into these categories, you can come to Slovakia for a study stay of 1 to 10 months. Here you can see the scholarship that you get. And if you are a university student, you get a scholarship of 400 euros per month. So it's a scholarship on a monthly base. If you are a PhD student, you get 734 euros per month. And if you are a university teacher, researcher, or artist, you get, depends on the qualification that you have. If you are a university teacher yet without PhD degree or equivalent, you get the same as the PhD students. If you already have your PhD degree and work less than 10 years, then you get 980 euros. And if you have a PhD degree and work for more than 10 months as a university teacher, then you get more than 1,000 euros per month. So I think those scholarships are really, really nice. Also, you have to take into regard that living in Slovakia is not that expensive as, for example, in Finland or other European countries. And in addition to the scholarship, you also can be awarded and you can apply for a travel allowance. And with this information, I have to tell you that it depends on how long you travel. And if your distance is less than 350 kilometers, you do not get a travel allowance. But as I know that this webinar is for students in Indonesia, your distance is more than 7,000 kilometers. So you would get a travel allowance of 1,000 euros. So that's also a great help if you would like to travel to Slovakia for a scholarship stay. And regarding the application procedure and deadlines, scholarship applications are submitted online at our webpage www.scholarship.sk, and deadlines are twice a year. And the first one is on 30th of April at 4 p.m. of Central European time, which is unfortunately already passed, but the next deadline is on 31st of October at 4 p.m. of Central European time. And this deadline will be open since September. And if you would like to apply for this, you are welcome to. And you can apply for scholarship stays during the summer semester of the current academic year. So if you would like to travel during the summer semester of the next academic year, then the deadline is for you. And if you would like to, for example, travel to Slovakia, not during the next academic year, but the year after that, then you have to apply on the 30th of April. I hope it's clear. And as you can see here, this is the website that I mentioned that you can apply and send your scholarship via to us. So it's www.scholarship.sk, and you can find there all the information you need in the section Program Terms and Conditions for international applicants. And also during September, there will be this section, Submit Application. And if you click on that, you will be redirected to our online application system. If you would also like to get some help regarding Slovakia and life in Slovakia, and maybe even if you are a researcher that would like to come to Slovakia and you don't know the information you need regarding, for example, taxes and employment and so on, you can also contact our Euraccess service centers, which are centers in all over Slovakia. We have 5 centers in 5 cities, and you will get personalized assistance regarding all the practical information that you might need as a PhD student or a researcher who would like to come for a scholarship stay to Slovakia. And for example, regarding even things like if you would like to come with your family. So that is also a great tip for you. We also have some questions, but let me just tell you something more, and we can pay attention to them at the end. So regarding the National Scholarship Program of the Slovak Republic, you probably ask the question how to correctly prepare attachments to application, or what do you need to provide if you want to apply. So you need to attach to the application your curriculum vitae, motivation letter, program of the stay, 2 letters of recommendation from your university teachers. If you ask what is the program of the stay, that is a brief or even lengthy description of the things that you would like to do in Slovakia. For example, you apply for a scholarship stay at the Comenius University and you study, for example, economics, then you state in your program of the stay all the subjects that you would like to go to or enroll to. You state there all the libraries that you would like to visit, that you maybe would like to work with some university teacher and so on. Then you need student status confirmation, and that is a document from your university that states that you are a full-time student of their university. Then you need a scan of applicant's diploma and diploma supplement and state examination certificate, because this national scholarship program is not for bachelor students, but from a master students and on. You need admission or invitation letter issued by applicant's host university in Slovakia. So this is a document from the university in Slovakia that says that they are excited or they welcome you to study at their institution. And if you are a PhD student, then you also need to provide list of publications or artistic activities in a required form. But don't worry, if you decide to apply, you are always welcome to contact our administrators for the program, and they will be always happy to give you advice on anything you need. And to conclude about the National Scholarship Program and the application procedure, the personalized advice that you will get from our administrators will only be supplemented by saying that the application is the only way that the committee that will decide if you get the scholarship or not to know you. So it is very important to prepare them carefully and to explain yourself, and for it to be of quality, not quantity. They don't need 10 pages of motivation letter, they need maybe 2 pages, but 2 pages that are interesting and explain well why you would like to come to Slovakia. So for now, thank you for your attention. And now I hope there will be many questions that I will be able to answer. And before we turn to your questions, I would also like to welcome you or invite you to follow us on our Facebook or Instagram, where we publish frequently, or even on a daily basis, new information regarding to Slovakia and studying in Slovakia, even information about Slovak universities and study programs. And if you would have some questions maybe later that you do not have formulated in your head now, you can turn to me on my email magdalena.mergova, or to my colleague Simona, or even to our National Scholarship Program Coordinator Ondrej.Aracky, and his email address is on the bottom part of the slide. So thank you very much for your attention right now, and let's get to those questions.
Thank you so much, Magdalena. Actually, there are some questions from the chat box, so you can check the chat box.
Yes, I'm already looking at them. So we have a question from Leah. And hi, Leah, nice to meet you. And she wants to ask if she should have a letter of, sorry, can you explain letter of application before applying to scholarship?
Letter of acceptance.
Letter of acceptance, sorry, yeah. Yes, before applying to scholarship, you should already have the letter of acceptance, because when you apply via the online application system, that is one of the attachments that you attach to the application. Because if you do not have the letter of acceptance, then maybe the committee wouldn't be sure if there is any university that you could go to. But it's not, to be honest, very hard to get the letter of acceptance. They are always happy to have international students at their departments. And if you are struggling with which university to choose, you can always ask us, and we will be very happy to give you advice. Or you can even search through the document, the publication about scholars, about study programs in Slovakia that I told you about, and there are a lot of them. Maybe, as I already said to you, more than 400. So we have another question. Is there any university of applied sciences in the Eastern Europe countries? I think so. Of course, there are universities that offer applied sciences programs. Even we have, I don't know if you are a student or a PhD students, but we also have a Slovak Academy of Sciences, where you can do also your research with this scholarship. So I would also give you this piece of advice, and that is to look through our publication of study programs in Slovakia. And I think that you will find there what you are looking for. Or even write me an email, and I will have a look at it, and search for study programs that would be ideal for you. If you have any more questions regarding your question that I have not answered, you can type a new one. We have a question from Zara, and she says, I would like to ask, is there any Slovakia student mobility or exchange program for undergraduate students? Thank you very much in advance. Hi, Zara, nice to meet you. And unfortunately, right now, there is not, but we are working on it. And in a matter maybe of several months, there should be an information that there is already a program for undergraduate students. I don't know if you know, but in Slovakia, we have now this great wave of reformations, and this is one of them. So maybe next year or a year after that, there would already be a program for undergraduate students. Do we need to submit IELTS or TOEFL? If yes, what are the minimum requirements? That depends on the university that you applied. Some universities require a language certificate, and some just require a statement from your teacher saying that you do speak English, and some do not require any language certificate at all. If I'm speaking about the program, and if it's in the attachments that you have to submit, no, you do not have to submit any certificate, and the rest is only on the university and their decision. So if you choose the university and you would like to ask them for a letter of acceptance, that is also one matter that you should discuss with them. I'm glad that I see some messages that already some people have decided to communicate with me or my colleague via email, and I will be happy to hear from you. Another question, is there language preparation before you start the master's degree? Well, if you start a master's degree in English, there is no language preparation, and they automatically assume that you speak English. But if you, for example, come to Slovakia and you would like to study in Slovak language, there are some core courses, some are paid, some are free, offered by Slovak universities. But mind you, if you would like to study in Slovak, they automatically assume that you speak Slovak at a level that you understand them speaking in Slovak at classes. Another question from Stella. I would like to ask, are there any special criteria for the letter of recommendation? Does it have to be from a professor, or can it be a lecturer without a professor title? Thank you. No, it does not have to be a professor, and it is best if it's someone that knows you. So the letter of recommendation shouldn't be maybe from the head of your department that didn't have any classes with you during the course of your studies, but should be maybe from the teacher that was your advisor on your, for example, bachelor thesis on, or some course that the teacher got to know you. And it's important that the letter of recommendation expresses that the teacher sincerely recommends you for the stay. So that's why it's best if it's someone that knows you and knows who you are and can sincerely say some things about you. So no, it may be even a PhD student that teaches you some lessons. And that's all. But if you would like to know more information, then write me an email or to our National Scholarship Program coordinator, and we will try to help you the best we can. We have another question. Is it possible to bring my family there regarding with the scholarship availability or your country regulation? That is a question I don't know an answer to, but if you drop me an email, I will ask our program coordinator and our people that are experts on international mobility, and we will have an answer ready for you. We have another question from, I hope I pronounce it correctly, Shelzia. I would like to ask if I have interest about medicine. Is it possible if my previous education is, for example, from computer science? And how many students will be accepted in the scholarship? Regarding the latter question and how many students will be accepted in the scholarship, it depends from year to year, because some year we have more finances from the government, some year we don't have that many, but generally there is, it moves in hundreds of students each scholarship deadline. So if you prepare your application well and you know what you're looking for and your attachments to applications are all of quality and not of quantity, then you have a great chance of success. And I don't understand the question. Would you like to come for a full study of medicine or for a scholarship stay in medicine? Because if it's a scholarship stay about medicine, then it's not possible. Because if you come for a scholarship stay with the National Scholarship Program, you should study something that clearly is in line with the object of your studies. But if you would like to come for a full study of medicine, yeah, it's not problem. If you do the entrance exam, then they will accept you no matter what you studied before. Is there any age limit for master program applicants? I think there is a limit that says that you have to study for example 2.5 semesters at least at the university, but I don't know of any age limit. But again, that's a question that I will have to discuss with the program scholarship coordinator.
I think it's something to do with the age of the applicants when they started to apply for the master's program.
I am not sure. Yes, I understand the question, but I only know that if you apply, that you have to already have passed 2 semesters and a half. So you can already apply as a bachelor, but you have to be, for example, in the 3rd year and a half, in the second half of your 3rd year of your bachelor studies. But I don't know of any age limit stated explicitly.
Thank you.
Sure. And for now, that's all of the questions. If you are interested to know anything else, just write the question, or even you can turn on your camera and your mic, and I will be happy to also see you. So another question, is it possible to apply the scholarship in the same time with applying to university? You mean for your master's program? Yes, it should be possible to apply. And if you are not already accepted at the time of your application to your master's program in university, then you would have to explain it in your application attachments. And if you would be accepted conditionally, and the condition would be that you get accepted to your master's program. Another question from Imelda. I wonder if there's any joint research in Slovakia. What do you mean? I think there are many programs or maybe research cooperations within universities and Slovak Academy of Sciences, or with foreign university or research centers. So yes, that is the case. There are many joint research activities in Slovakia, but if you would like to know something else, then explain yourself in a comment. While we wait for another questions, I would again like to invite you to follow us on our Facebook and Instagram. And even there, if you have any more questions, you can pop us in a personal direct message. So we will always be there to help you. Another question, Czechoslovakia was Indonesian student study destination in the 1960s. What subjects did they study? Well, for that, I would probably have to look through the archives, but maybe you know if you ask. We have another question from Hilaria. I would like to ask if the scholarship and universities in Slovakia in general also open for non-STEM program, for example, social, culture, and communication master program, or is this only prioritized for STEM research program? Thank you. No, it's not prioritized. So if you would like to come to Slovakia to study anything from, not natural sciences, you are very welcome to apply. And we have many applicants and scholarship holders each year that do not study sciences. We have, for example, some people from some countries or some departments in the world that study, for example, Slovak language or history or anything. So it doesn't the scholarship holders do not get awarded based on the topic they study, but on the quality of their application. Another question from Leah. Is there a catalog for master subjects in Slovakia? I need to find subjects which suit my profile. Yes, I already mentioned the publication study programs offered in English for foreign students. And in that publication, you can find all the bachelor and master and PhD and any study programs that are taught in English in Slovakia. So you can search through that. Or even if you need advice, you can ask us and we will try to help you. You're welcome. And if you come to Slovakia, we also do many activities. For example, like city tours. You will not be just left hanging, just studying. And we, as our agency and also Erasmus Student Network, this is also a volunteer agency in Slovakia that does activities for exchange students and scholarship students in Slovakia. So you will always have a community in your university that will be there for you and happy to help you and be friends with you. I know that the moderator of our discussion has asked a question about Czechoslovakia and students in Indonesia. Do you know something more about it? Did you study in Slovakia?
In the 60s, some of our former Indonesian ministers went to Czechoslovakia, but I didn't know what university they go. They went at the time. Perhaps you can tell us what subjects that were very strong at that time, because Indonesia was very close to the Eastern Bloc in the 60s. So I would like to know what subjects perhaps which were Indonesian students' favorite at that time.
Well, I don't know specifically, but I do know that a lot of students from Indonesia and also, for example, Vietnam came to study in Slovakia. And usually, like generally, they were subjects like from the technical topics or economic and so on.
Thank you. There's a question from Gahana Hanun.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So another question from Gahana. How do you think about studying magister with different major with the bachelor degree? Do you ever know about it? So if you come to Slovakia for a full study, right now there is no scholarship available, but in the future there will be, as I said, with also the undergraduate scholarships. And if you want to study a different major than your bachelor, of course it's possible, as in any other country in the world. And of course, there are even many Slovak students that choose something different from their bachelor degree. You just have to pass the entrance exam. And if you would like to come for a scholarship stay, unfortunately, you have to be accepted to your local university in Indonesia for example, the magister studies or the PhD studies, and then your scholarship stay is dedicated to the same topic that you study in your home country.
Thank you for informing this, because not many Indonesians aware that applying master's degree different from their previous bachelor degree background is possible, especially in Europe, because I had a friend who studied agroforestry, agronomy, and when he was in bachelor degree, and he took master's degree in political communication. And me myself also obtained scholarship for information system at that time, although my bachelor degree is in forestry, but I decided to go to other subjects. But thank you for informing this.
Yes, sure. I even have friends, for example, I studied translation and interpreting in English and Spanish, and I have completed also my master's degree in this subject, but I have a friend that, for example, they studied the same with me, but for the master's they went to economics, or for example, some even didn't continue in their studies and went to medicine. So it's not that uncommon.
Yeah, because in Indonesia we call it linearity, because something to do with position, research position in the university, or position for lecture in the university. So you've got to have the same line of subjects for your bachelor and master's degree. So that's something to do with Indonesia's job opportunity, especially in academics.
Yes, I understand. I think here there's an understanding that maybe when you are 18 years old, not always you know what is the thing that you would like to do for the rest of your life. So if you decide later that the thing that you chose first is not the correct one, that's okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's new wisdom.
Yeah. Is there a format for making study plans in Slovakia? Do you mean it regarding the program of your state that I mentioned that you have to submit with your application documents? There is not yes, there is a format. There's a document for download at our website, www.scholarships.sk. And all the documents that you have to submit with your application are there in a format or example format. So if you do not know how to make them, you can always go to our website and download them and get an inspiration or a sense of how they should look, or even you can contact us before you submit the application, and we can give you advice on, yes, that is correct, that is not good, you should work more on that, so on. No worries.
Teman-teman, masih ada pertanyaan lain? Oh yeah, there's a question from Hilaria Arum here. Any suggestion for Indonesian who want to learn Slovak language? Example, recommended language course, or what kind of language test we should take? Thanks.
Language test depends on the university. Some universities even do their own testing. Some require like some formal tests. But where should you learn Slovak? For example, on our website, you can find a section that's named Slovak language learning. And there you can find all the resources and links to all the university courses that you can apply to. So for example, some courses are free of charge, some are paid, and well, that's my advice. You should go there to the webpage, and you will have all the information there. But most of the bigger Slovak universities, they offer language courses in Slovak language. Even moreover now, because we have a major influx of Ukrainians to our country due to the situation there. So there are now even more and more courses popping. So.
Perhaps this is the last question from Fatima Zahra.
It is so interesting to know about how we can take different majors from our bachelor. So let's say if I'm a political science student for my bachelor degree, is it possible to take psychology as the focus of my master's degree? Well, as I said, it is possible, but you have to pass the entrance exam that you have to prove to the committee that you can study the master's degree in psychology. It's maybe more delicate in the areas like medicine and so on, because if you want to study medicine, it's not divided into major and bachelor. It's all medicine course of 6 years. So you cannot start studying medicine in medias res. And psychology, I think they would have some entrance exams or some exam online or on site, probably online with you. So you would prove to them that you would be able to follow.
Yep. Thank you.
Or maybe even do some course online on psychology. You know that, for example, in your application to the university, if you would come to study full-time, you show them that you are already based some way in psychology. But it is possible. You just have to pass the entrance exam. Like when you get accepted for bachelor degree, then you have to do the same for master's degree if you change your study focus. Any more questions? Oh, thank you so much for asking all the questions. It was very interesting. Also the discussion. And it was my pleasure to be here this hour with you and see your faces and hear your thoughts written down in the chat.